Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Martin once again. It has really been a pleasure to have you here in these beautiful classes. And this is something that I'm trying to give you these tips on computer, on basics of computer, and also to understand what what are these computer what malware threats are. So, because since that we have looked at what are the computer attacks and we have looked at some of the ways of how these attacks happen, if you someone who has not been who is new to this program has been an initiative that we have just started some few days back, some few months back actually, and we are continuing with it. We are not stopping anytime soon because we want to bring young people to understand that as this technology is growing and as we're trying to see how best can you protect yourself, how best can you carry this message to others. And one of the things is that you and I protect ourselves, it means that there's a time that we can easily be able to tell these other people that this is how you're supposed to protect yourself. So here I am trying to give on some of the things that you how to protect yourself. You first know what you identify. I let you know this is the problem. These are problem associated with technology, and these are problems associated with cybersecurity that people are looking for. If you're online, and most of the time you've been online, and someone wants to access your information, what do they do so that they can be able to trick you? There's psychological ways that there's a different ways of accessing your information, either by installing malicious codes into your code, or maybe injecting some SQLs into your login and all this to make sure that they get information. Here that today we are going to look at. I'm going to take you through some of the tips that that really help you as a way that we know that these uh, bad guys or the hackers or ethical the ethical what the ethical not ethical hackers, but attackers, how they get this information into your PC and how they get from you. One of the things that we are looking at as a way of what they do is we're looking at now a practical part of what we call malware threats. And malware threats, we have particular three types. We have worms, we have viruses, and we have trojans. And all these things that they have, once we look at them one by one or in details later, one that when we look at what are the computer viruses, we know that computer viruses, these are just like code or programs that that disrupt a proper functioning of a computer to make it misbehave or to work in a different ways, or that will damage the computer system, or will make it will make it not work in a proper way that is supposed to work. And one of the things that it aims to disrupt the system. Let's take example. Maybe your computer system is you've been running a certain program on your what on your you've been running your program, or you've been doing some activity, or you're carrying out some work. Then that you find that your computer is not it's started malfunctioning, or it's not working well. Then this one is one, maybe it could have been caused by this computer virus. It can cause major operational issues. It can also result into a loss of data or data linkage. Maybe someone want intentionally to disrupt your information to your computer so that they can be able to access it. And one way we have to know that these computer viruses are typically attached to executable files or host files, which result in the viral code executing when files is open. Once ever maybe someone sends you a link, and once you tap on that link and you open it, to execute itself automatically, and then it will be able to disrupt your system, and your system will not what will not again work properly. Take an example like you download an application online, then you find that maybe on this particular application that you downloaded a virus that has been attached to that particular file, and that is why it is very important that you have to avoid this sharing this, uh, especially peripherals devices like flashes and all these other ones. And then also like you don't need to open uninfected emails. And one thing that this virus, computer virus, they spread speed of the system. Like they have to slow down the computer and all these. There, some of the performance, like the signs that you know that this my PC has been affected. Speed of the system, a computer system, a system start running slower than the usual or normal way it has been running. Pop-up windows and like uninterrupted appearance on your PC and on your tel or on your web browser signs of this computer virus. And then also programs self-executing. Maybe you find like maybe unknowingly you had opened a PC. Sorry, no, you had opened a file that was having an attachment in your email. Then on your email you find that this particular file now is executing itself, and then now it is just running itself. If it if it is expectedly closed by themselves or it is highly that this software or that particular software that you own that it attached the file or the software that you interacted with has some sort of virus. And then accounts become locked out because of, obviously once these things start executing themselves, it will really affect you. It will affect your device, crashing of device, and then mass emails being sent from unknown account or email account that you don't even know the owner. And then this is like commonly this used by hackers. That's one way of that. So how do these computer viruses work? Because seriously they work in the different phases that they work on. We have dormant phase. Once the virus enters the system, it stays hidden without causing immediate harm. It's silent way to avoid detection, because it's the most important thing that they are able to do. These attackers and hackers are able to do all the time. Then propagation phase. In this phase, the virus begins replicating itself, copying into files, folders, programs, and spread across the system. It can spread on a system through shared files. Maybe you get a flash from one device, like from my machine to my friend's machine, then they all connect, and all this to be now to be self-replicating. And this seriously once that's been installed to start replicating itself in that particular device. Triggering phase. Here the specific action or event such as clicking on app, as I told you before, that maybe you downloaded some some files of certain program. Then when you want to open the file, or maybe you want to you downloaded that and you're downloading the software and then it affected you, it is now start triggering the computer virus. Then execution files. Once the virus runs its malicious code, the damage occurs. It can result to data disruption, corruption, system slowdown, and stealing sensitive information. So this one you have to make sure there's some ways to protect yourself. So one, how do you protect yourself? Because we have seen that now this one is something of sort of bad thing. Because when it happens to you or it happens to me, I need to protect my computers, I need to protect my machine, and you also need to also protect the fellow. Removable devices. As stated here, these are the things. Let me first give you some sort of courses that gives you uh, that are causes of computer viruses. Removable devices, as I told you, USB sticks and all these other plugging ins and what they really really easily spread computer virus. And these verified downloads that normally happens, especially they may hide uh, these viruses software installers, maybe media files. We may also have something like some sort of browsers ads on download from sketchy websites. Even trusted platforms have it in the patch and bundle unwanted programs, especially like in this one in Adware in download.com. So these things you need to know. Like you have to make sure that you verify where you're downloading this certain file from. Email attachment. That's why it is so good to make sure that you first have to avoid what you have to avoid these opening emails or attachments from unknown emails addresses. Then file sharing and torrent sites and peer-to-peer sharing are often hotbed for infection-free movie. Torrents and cracked apps with always carry hidden these hidden webs, malware, and computer viruses. Messaging apps maybe via WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, and this maybe other mobile devices that are vulnerable to computer viruses, advertising. So how do you protect yourself? Of course, you have to avoid these mobile devices like flashes from and maybe from infected devices and machines. You have to avoid opening attachments, email attachments from different files. Third, you have to make sure that you have to download from legitimate sources so that you can know this one. You avoid these things of getting cracked versions of software and all these kind of things. And then you also have to avoid, maybe you have to be vigilant when you're on social media and platforms and all this, so that you can get not get cracked versions, and at the end of the day you may end up installing a computer virus. So I really want to say thank you for listening, and I really want to let you know that we have just looked at what is computer virus. We also try to look at the some of the sign that you see the performance, how it is slowed down the computer, how maybe like your pop-ups, and how do you know that your account has been locked out. These are some of the signs. Then we also look up some of the phases. We have looked at majorly four phases. We have looked at dormant phase, we look at propagation, we have looked at the triggering phase, and also execution phase. The majorly four. And then lastly, we have looked at some of the causes of these computer viruses and what causes it to spread easily. Removable devices, we have looked at unverified downloads. We have looked at email attachment, file sharing, and torrent sites. And then we've looked at also messaging apps, and also maladvertising, which is malicious codes ads. So cyber criminals inject codes into these digital ads and which appear on genuine websites, so you have to avoid them as many as can. So next, we're going to just give you a brief explanation on different types of computer virus, so that you can be easily be able to understand. But that will be in the next video. Thank you for listening. Please keep sharing my videos and keep sharing, liking the content, and please comment where you need me to improve. Please let me find it down below, and I really appreciate you. Thank you, and I will appreciate you, and I'll try to improve the content, and we try to go through together so that I can be able to understand better, and I want to let you know that this is for educational purposes, and you have to be able to share with your colleagues and your friends, and we can be able to approve. So thank you, and see you in the next lecture.